one time. You make me happy.
Love you, buddy.
Hey, you get off my cloud. All that negativity ain't gonna be bringing me down. Just keeping positive's a motto to the end. Hand out the window on the highway, riding the wind. Yep. Got scrappy in that old Kentucky playpen. When looking back now, I'm left wondering where them days went away. Went for sure, yeah, they spin. When they hates when I'm waving with that Honolulu hang 10. I'm just doing what I want. Mountains there to climb on. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you dive on. The prize must be what you keep your eyes on. A focused mind like I studied under masters up in Taiwan. Let that truth hit you. Tunes get jujitsu. Don't bitch, dude. You lace them up if that shoe fits you. We with you. Man, sometimes you gotta fix you. But no excuses, no din-dos. Man, just lay back and turn it up. Ray, word 'em up. Working on his farmer's tan underneath the burning sun. We gonna ride this cover wagon till its last wheel. Gotta love it when the music sounds just like the grass feels. Hey, you get off my cloud. All that negativity ain't gonna be bringing me down. Just keeping positive's a motto to the end. Hand out the window on the highway, riding the wind. Hey, you get off my cloud. All that negativity ain't gonna be bringing me down. Just keeping positive's a motto to the end. Hand out the window on the highway, riding the wind. Hey yo, Ray. 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 Hey yo, Ray.
Here we go. We got Marge in the house. Marge in the house. How's everybody doing? Happy day 6, people. Touch some damn grass, why don't you? Get out there and touch some grass. Well, we're on our way, aren't we? We're getting ready to touch some grass. We're doing almost the full week. It's almost happened, people. And we're going to go ahead and get some of this preliminary practice out of the way so that when we get out there in the world, you're not all overwhelmed and like, what the hell am I supposed to do? You know? Right. This is a lot harder than I thought. You know, it's really not that hard, people. It's a little bit of a juggling, kind of thing, but it's really not that hard. And it's quite fun once you understand that it's like this process of a dance and you kind of get better at it every time and you raise your goals every time and, then you try to raise your expectations and before you know it, you're sending art out to people and they're actually excited to get it. How about that? Isn't that something else, Hey, there ain't nothing worse than sending somebody a gift and they're like, oh, thanks. That's all right. I appreciate it. I'll put it on my shelf or something, and then before you know it, you see it's been regifted to somebody else because you go over to somebody else's house and you say, oh, where'd you get that? And they say, oh, so-and-so gave it to me for Christmas. You say, oh. It's terrible. I've had that happen to me. I've had that happen to my paintings in the past, and you're just like, "Oh man, that fucking sucks." I guess my paintings are terrible, but hey, that's the way it is. You got to go through that. You got to crawl through that shit to get to the good stuff, man. Come on. So we're looking at today is day 6, and I'm trying to give you the tools. I got other people coming to me, and they're saying, "Hey, I tried that box thing, and it's easy." It makes it easy. I can actually do it. I sat outside and I was drinking my coffee and I was doing my little doodle-a-roo, getting my doodling on, my little doodle-a-roo, and it actually worked. It was magical. And that's what we're looking for. That's what I want to have happen. I want you to be pleasantly surprised that you actually have the capacity to draw and to paint and to be creative. It's in you. It's not this thing that's reserved only for the elite or only for the special people, but it's in everyone. It really is. It's in everyone. And everybody's at their own pace, at their own journey. Some of us, we start, we have good parents and we start off ahead of everybody else, Some of us have okay or whatever, and we start even. Some of us start rough. We start in the hole. We start way down in that hole, and we got to learn how to climb out of the hole first before we can actually start the race, okay? So don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just compare yourself to yourself and be excited about the small improvements and use them as encouragements to fuel your journey and get you excited to move even further. Life is hard enough without you being your fucking hardest critic and, bowing down to that critical eye in your mind and letting them run rapshod over you. Get a hold of that critical eye, would you? Go ahead and get a hold of him so that you can have a good life, Okay? Don't let that voice beat you up no more. All right? Come on now. So, day 6, how you doing? Okay? Check in with yourself. Are you stoked? Are you excited? Is there anything to be excited about? Well, I had an excited night last night. I had a little bit of, internet drama, as it were. Make me a miniature celebrity, as it could be, Somebody was saying, what the hell's going on? And I said, well, this old reboot of this old show, and I got one line in it, and I was all excited about it. I caught a little stray bullet. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch last night's Nightwave. That was pretty funny. I was watching that. Mersha knocked it out of the park, But that was some funny stuff. So I'm happy to do that. Go watch go look at some of my cartoons. You'll see what it's all about. They're on Twitter. Ray is happy. Give me a follow. I need to get more follows, people. Speaking of which, a lot of cartoons out there. I'm excited about that. Speaking of which, we got a couple more interviews coming up. And I'm really excited about it. We're actually going to get Neil on, okay? I talked to Neil Whitehead, that does line and wash, the urban landscape. And this is what we're going to do today. We're going to do some watercolor like that today on our California tower from Balboa Park. So I'm really, really excited about that. Love his book. If you're interested in doing this, go buy his book, okay? I'll put an Amazon link to it down below. But he goes a little step-by-step on how to do it and how to create those beautiful washes. Look at that wash right there. That wash right here is gorgeous. That's a gorgeous wash right there. That's what we call it when you put down a layer of watercolor. We call it a wash, okay, people? So get that jargon so you can look professional, like all us people up here in our suits and ties, okay? We're all professional over here. And then there we got Neil's setup right there. He's got it going on right there. Got his little tripod, and he's out there getting her done. We love to see that. Got his backpack. Got all his stuff in there, and he's out there somewhere in the world painting the world, people. Isn't that fucking amazing? I just remember I'm supposed to stop those F-bombs. Sorry about that. But isn't that amazing? You know what I mean? Look at this one right here. He's just going to it right there, and I love to see it. I just love to see it. So anyway, that's the style that we're going to do today. We're going to do Neil Whitehead, line and wash. We're going to get him on for an interview. I got a couple other people coming up for an interview, and I'm really excited about that. I'm really looking forward to that. So check in with yourself. Are you stoked? Those are some of the things I'm stoked about. Okay. I just fucking, there we go again. I just started doing this thing, a couple months ago, and here we are. We're already talking. We're chit-chatting with real deal artists here, people. People who've made books and illustrations, and they're out there painting the world, living that life. So come on, let's get after it. Now, the other thing I referenced was, how you doing? You got that critical eye locked down? You using that impulse control to keep that locked down, okay? We got to do it in order to keep our hot air balloon of excitement full, okay? Can't let him be poking holes in it. Got to get him away from it, all right? So keep your hot air balloon full. Keep that critical eye away from poking holes in your excitement balloon, okay? Letting all that excitement and stoke out. Get on them about that, okay? And then, of course, finally, we want to talk about our schedule. How's your schedule doing? Are you working your schedule? Are you doing your watercolor in the shower? You can do it in the shower. Get a little suction cup, put it up there, do some of that water from the shower, put it on there, have a good time. And then, your girlfriend or whoever comes in there and be like, what the hell happened in the shower? You got that watercolor paint everywhere. But it's all good. It's something fun to talk about, okay? Something fun to talk about. So, stay stoked. Keep the critical eye locked down and keep that schedule going, okay? So that's what we're talking about. All right. Now, pretty soon, it's day 6 today. Pretty soon, day 7, day 8. No, not day 7, but day 8, 9, and so on and so forth. We're going to venture outside, okay? Trying to get Patty Vincent on for a little interview, too. She's another outdoor painter. She does miniatures, and she does use paint gouache. So I'm excited about that. And going to talk about how she gets outside. The thing that I love about her, she does it in such a minimalistic way that it's really, really easy to, it's a low bar of entry. It's really easy to come up and do it. She has a couple clips, and she has a little board that she has in her car, and she can sit right there in her car, and her car can be her little studio. And so she can drive it over here and park it in front of the ocean and paint the ocean. She can drive it over here, park it in front of the, the Colorado mountains and paint the mountains. She can drive it over here and, paint the desert. All staying in her car, listen to her music, staying safe. you know, because all those things are important at first. Okay, people, you got to, before you can learn how to juggle it. You know, when you start painting outside, all of your attention and focus goes into your painting, and you become very vulnerable. That's something to consider. Okay, you become very vulnerable, and so you want to, you know, take precautions initially to make sure that you're protected and you're safe. And if you can bring somebody else with you, do it. Have them get a cup of coffee and sit there and watch your back, you know, so that one of these yahoos doesn't come up and try to, you know, rob you or something, do some sort of, you know, stagecoach robbery, you know, and get after you like that, okay? And of course, you're going to draw a little bit of attention because people are going to want to come over and see what you're doing. They're going to say, well, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Artist, what are you doing? And then they're going to want to vomit all over you about, well, you know, when I was in high school, I was an artist too. Or they're going to say, now, my niece or my nephew, they're quite the artist, but they don't do it like you. You shouldn't do it. Why do you do it that way? You know, and it's astounding how rude people can be. You know, when they're trying to relate to you in the first place. They came up to you because they were interested in you, and they came into your social bubble. You know about your social bubble, right? It's 6 feet. If you imagine a 6-foot bubble around you, that's your social bubble. Anytime somebody comes into that bubble, they're trying to get your attention. So when these people come into your social bubble and they're trying to get your attention just to somehow get they want validation from you. But sometimes they smear all their, you know, garbage emotions on you, and you have to protect yourself, okay? And I learned that the hard way. You got people coming up to you saying, oh, well, you know, how long you been doing art? And they're looking down at your paint. You go, oh, I've been painting since I was, oh, really? I thought you would have been better by now. I've had people say that to me. Like, oh, I thought I'd be better too. And then like you're heartbroken, you know, you're heartbroken, and because you're, you know, and it ruins your whole, experience out there, because then you're out there painting and you can't get into your painting because you're looking over your shoulder watching for where the next kick's gonna come from, you know. You're the cat that everybody's kicking. Oh, look at this guy. Who still paints nowadays? Oh, you're an artist? Have you ever thought about maybe working for video games? Have you ever thought about maybe doing it digitally and really making some money, huh? Maybe you can do that. And I'm like, I'm out here invested in painting the landscape, and you're coming and you're just dumping all this crap on me. What's going on? So you got to be ready for that, you know. You got to be ready for that. Sometimes I had a little sign that says, "Don't bother the artist," you know. You can even also set up a little cup if you want, get little donations. Say, I'm homeless. I'm painting for some food. Please help. And it happens. Meanwhile, you got yourself, you know, a couple $100 in watercolor paints over here. You got yourself a nice little $200 tripod. You know, I'll need some money. I'm trying to earn my way back home. You know, but that's all just good fun. I remember... Check this out. This is a true story. So I'm at Balboa Park, and you can go anywhere in Balboa Park and you're painting, right? Well, they have designated spots for people who come and panhandle or sell their stuff or whatever. You know, like some people sell crystals, or they put out their beads, or, you know, maybe they're playing their guitar and having their tip jar out there and all that stuff. And I remember this one time. I'm at Balboa Park. I get in the shade. I got my backpack on. I take out my little tripod. I'm setting up my tripod. I take out my easel and set up my easel. Pop it up. You know, I get my canvas. I put it on my easel. I get my, you know, squirt out my oil paints, and I refresh the ones, and I clean up my tray and get rid of the oil paint that got hard. You know, I get rid of it, and then I look around. I do my little thing, get my little, you know, looking at, oh, this is the scene I want. So finally get my little chair, and I get settled, you know, getting settled in there, and like a cat doing my biscuits, you know, getting settled. And, you know, I had to walk up from my car, which I had to park, you know, I didn't say it. I had to park like, you know, 20 minutes to walk that way because it's so packed, and you know, I'm dabbing the sweat off. Getting, finally calm down, get my biscuits. You know, it was a whole big thing, right? I had to drive down there for, you know, 35, 40 minutes. And I finally get there. I walk for 20 or 30 minutes, find a spot, get set up. Takes 15, 20 minutes to get set up. I'm getting the sweat finally, you know, calming back down, doing my mental thing, you know. Get excited, get excited. I'm excited, get excited. I'm excited, yay. Don't let the critical eye beat you. Oh, critical eye. Put the critical eye in the hole. Okay. Get my schedule. Let me check my watch. Set it for 60 minutes. Okay, I'm ready. Getting ready. Start painting. Right? Then I get this. Excuse me. And it's this lady, right? She's got this weird turban on. She's got all these beads and bells and shit as she walks. Excuse me. Yeah, what? This is my area. Wait, what? This area? This right here? This is my area. Today, this is my area. For this time, today, this is my area. I'm like, well, I'm just sitting right here. You're over there. You're way over there. You got your blanket out. You got all your little crystals and your tarot cards for a tarot reading and all that. Yeah, but you're in my area. You need to move. Like, excuse me, I need to move, but I'm not bothering anybody. No, you need to move. Like, why do I need to move? There can only be one person making money in this area. And today it's me. Okay. Let me tell you something, lady. I'm not making money. I'm just painting. Oh, you're out here just painting? Yeah, I'm just painting. Oh, so you're not like selling it or nothing? No, I'm not. I'm just painting. I got my earphones on. I'm just painting. Oh, you're not taking tips or anything like that? No tips. Like, no, I'm just painting this. After I'm done painting, I'm gonna pack up. I'm gonna go to my next spot, paint the next spot. Cause you know you can't take any money if you're gonna be here. Cause this is my area to take the money. This is my area. Like, all right, yeah, no, I'm not taking any money. And she won't stop talking to me, right? So I put my earphone back in. She's still yammering away. I just start painting. Then she stands right in front of me. I'm like, lady, I'm not doing anything. I'm not taking money. Well, people might think you are taking money. I'm like, well, I mean, first of all, I'm not taking money. Second of all, I can't control what people think. Third of all, I'm not even in your market. Okay, you're over here doing this psychic warrior hoomamajoo with the tarot card reading, read your palm, sell you some crystals. I'm just painting over here by myself. Okay. Well, I tell you, this lady wouldn't leave me alone. So I just had to pack up and I had to move on. Otherwise, what was I going to do? Waste all my time there at Balboa Park? So you got to be ready for this kind of stuff, people. And it really, really helps if you have a woman with you. I'm telling you, the women, they can, and they're good at it too. They can do that, you know. They get all catty. They get all catty, and they know, they smell when another cat's gonna come up and put their funk on you. And they jump out there and they say, "Oh, bitch, you better get the fuck off. That's my man right there." Comes in real handy, you know what I mean? And if they're attractive, even better. Because then, you know, all the men come up and what's going on? Yeah, leave this young lady alone. You know, because then you get her whole squadron of white knights that come in. Leave this young lady alone. They don't even know that I'm attached to her or anything. They just think that this psycho, hippie, tarot reading, crystal having crazy bitch is trying to attack this poor, innocent little flower of a beautiful woman. And they all run to her aid. I mean, they come out of everywhere and nowhere at the same time. All these men, step away, vile creature, from this young princess. And of course, I'm like, you know, painting the whole time and all this is going on over here, but I can see no problem. I just turn my music up. And after we're done with all that, I get my painting done, I pack up, and I take her out to a nice lunch. I say, "You done good. Honey, you done good." She goes, "Oh, I did good." eating her French fries, you know. And so that's the way you do it. You got to be ready for it when you go out there, people. But that's a little bit of a fun story, okay? So, and then I'd go around to other places in Balboa Park and paint. And, you know, I've got all kinds of other stories. Sometimes the homeless people will come up and bother me. But, you know, for the most part, it was fantastic. I love Balboa Park. But today we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into Balboa Park, California Tower. That's what this is right here. That's what this is. Okay, and we're going to do it in the fashion of Mr. Neil Whitehead from his book, Line and Wash. Again, I said, if you want to get a great book to help you jumpstart or whatever, get this book right here. It's I forget how much it is, but he lays out a whole bunch of ideas that you know, far better than I could go into, and he does it in a book, and you could take it with you, and you can sit there and look, you can copy from it, and you can say, oh, okay, Mr. Neil Whitehead, I see how you did that right there. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and get this done right here. And then at the end of it, you can say, Mr. Neil Whitehead, mine doesn't look a thing like yours. What the hell happened? Neil must have some kind of special watercolor paint or something. Because my watercolor paint just don't do that. It looks like all kinds of mud. And I don't know what the hell's going on. And that's when you come back to my videos. Because then I say, keep the critical eye on the hole. And let's talk about how to get your psychology back on the up and up. And get excited. And then one day you're going to say, you know what? Turns out I was doing it wrong the whole time. Can you believe that? So anyway, so that's how we're going to do it. Now we're going to have a good time. We're going to come down here to camera 2. All right, we got camera 2 right here, putting me up in a corner. Now the thing I really love about Neil's approach is that it works so well with watercolor. It allows the watercolor just to flow right in there, and it really reflects the strength of the watercolor medium. You got the nice flow, you've got the nice sprinkles, which I fucking love sprinkles. I love to do all those little sprinkles and stuff like that. And I love the pigment. I love how the washes blend together. So that's what we're going to go ahead and get and give it a try here. We're going to get some of this done, okay? And we're going to have fun doing it. And of course, this is one of them situations where there's no wrong answer. So I got my California Tower right here. I got my 3 watercolor brushes. Now keep in mind, I do have a whole mess of other brushes, okay? So I got all these brushes right here. Let me put it down here on this big, I don't know if that's gonna, I got a whole mess of other brushes that I use. But I'm just using these 3 brushes right here because it's economical, it's feasible, and when you first start watercolor painting, you don't want to go all in and drop $1,000 on stuff if you don't know you're gonna love it. So figure out that you're gonna love it first, then get in there, and then drop money on it, okay? So I got my watercolor palette right here, and it's you know, it's a good amount of watercolor palette. It's a good amount of money in that watercolor palette, but you can go ahead and get one of them, you know, travel ones pretty cheap, you know. It's always amazing to me that, you know, people they want to buy a watercolor painting. I'm waking up my watercolor with my squirt bottle right here. If you didn't hear what that sound was, okay? And I say, oh, how much is that? And I say, well, you know, it's about $100 or $200 or whatever. And I say, oh my God, I don't know how much that is. I'm gonna have to save my money, blah, 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 blah. And I say, okay, well, great. Well, you go ahead and you go ahead and buy me a watercolor palette. You know, go ahead and here's all the paints. If you'd rather do that, just buy me all the paints. The paints come out to like $250 total, people. So them paints ain't cheap, okay? Them paints is not cheap. All right, here we go. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to grab my big watercolor brush right here, and I want to go ahead and get my Corellian blue. Now, the other day we were talking about, you know, painting horizon lines and all that stuff, and somebody asked me a question. They said, Ray, and I said, yeah, what's going on, dog? What's going on, dog? And they said, Ray, what happens if I'm looking at the mountains and where's the horizon line at? And I said, well, you know, it's behind the mountains. And they said, what are you talking about? I can't see that. And I said, well, you know, you got, as an artist, you got to understand you have X-ray vision. You can use your X-ray vision. You can see behind the mountains. You can see through the mountains. The horizon line is where the sky meets the surface of the earth. Okay, it's behind the mountains. And they said, you know what? I didn't realize it, but I do have X-ray vision. Let me switch that on real quick. And they look, oh, there's that horizon line. I can see right through them mountains right there. Then they looked at me and they said, why aren't you wearing any clothes? I said, turn that x-ray vision off. Turn that x-ray vision off right now, right now. Quit looking at me like that. All right, so we're just gonna get in here and we're gonna use a whole bunch of water, okay? So we wanna get that watercolor or get that paper saturated straight away, okay, people? We're gonna use more water than we normally would use, all right? We're gonna get that watercolor paper saturated. I got some blue going on. You can see the blue, right? And we're gonna leave some parts, because I got them clouds, we're gonna leave some parts kind of undone, all right? Got them clouds up there. That's really exciting. Now, if you notice, Neil doesn't really follow any kind of specific formula for color, and I love that. Okay, that's a lot of fun. So we're gonna go ahead and take some of this, and we're gonna maybe get a really deep blue. Okay, so I'm gonna get some cobalt blue. And we're just gonna go ahead and put some touches in here. It's really deep. Okay, really deep blue. Now you want to do a little bit of the splattering maybe towards the end, okay? Because you have to keep in mind that whatever you put on top is going to change the nature of the texture underneath it. So say for example you do this wash and you're like, oh my god, that looks so good. You know, the texture of it. Be aware that if you put a wash on top of it, it's going to soften that texture. That's the nature of watercolor. It's going to get it wet, and it's going to kind of dilute out again, and it's just going to soften it up. Okay? It's just going to soften it up. All right. Now, one of the things I really want to do is I want to get some of this green down here into these the tops of these little guys that I have down here in the little maze. Okay. Now I'm going to touch these. I see it pulling up. You know, the water's pulling up into a drip right there. I want to get rid of that. So I just tap my brush, tap-a-roo like Happy Gilmore, and just clean it up real quick. Now I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to grab some of this yellow. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of a hooker's green to it so I can get a nice vibrant color. And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to run it over like really quick. Now when you run it over really quick, can you see it makes this texture? Right there, see that texture? That's the tooth of the paper doing that, okay? That's why you get cold pressed watercolor paper, okay? Hot pressed watercolor paper has no texture, okay? People, it's very smooth. So when you run your paintbrush over it, it just doesn't do nothing. It just looks just nice and smooth. Now, there ain't nothing wrong with that, if that's what you want. There ain't nothing wrong with that indeed. Now I'm gonna come in, I'm just gonna put some darker blue or whatever, blue-green, have a good time. Okay. Have a good time. All right. Now I'm gonna also put some up here in this here watercolor, this here palm tree. Like so. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of this blue green. I'm gonna splatter it. Now I'm gonna be careful when I splatter it, not to get it all over my damn computer, my cameras, and all that good stuff. Okay. So we're gonna splatter some of that around there. Just have a good time. Just have a good time. Okay. Have fun with it, people. That's the name of the game. We want to have a little fun. All right. Now, for the tower, I want it to be a little bit of a peach color. A little bit of a peach color. So I got to blend this down. I got to, you know, blend it down to a little bit of a peach color. There we go. We've got to find a little bit of that. We're going to come in here. We're just going to paint that up. We're going to go very quickly. Run the brush over it very quickly so I can get that tooth, that texture. You know what I mean? From the paper, okay? I'm gonna do a little bit of that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come here. We're gonna get some of this purple. I'm gonna put in a shadow or two, okay? Maybe a little bit of red. And we're just gonna come in here like so, okay? This is in shadow. We'll just call this in shadow, right? And of course, this guy over here, he's in shadow, okay? Now we're straying a little bit away from Neil's technique, and we're doing a little bit of a traditional technique because Neil, I don't know how much of the landscape he takes into consideration when he's doing his washes. As you can see right here, I'm looking at this right here. He's got the nice beautiful sky, you know, then he's got over here, he's got all these drips and drabs and grays and nice beautiful colors with the lines and all that with the wash. That's kind of what we got going on over here, but a little bit more towards the realistic. Now, if you want to go like crazier, like more away from the realism, yeah, do it. start where you can and then work your way. All right. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mix up a green gray right here. We're just gonna go ahead and paint this in to knock this value down. Do the same thing over here. All right. Looking good, looking good. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint in this blue, purple in the background, and we're gonna ultramarine blue, a little bit of rose. Okay. And we're just gonna paint in these guys in the distance. I always love these colors of the guys in the distance. It's always such a fun color, you know. These very vibrant purples and these very strong blues. So we'll drop in the purple first. Put one over here too. That puts it nicely into the background. Then we'll get a turquoise. Okay, get a nice shot of turquoise. And we'll come in here and we'll just touch it. Just touch it to give it a little bit of life, a little bit of variance. Remember, variety is the spice of life. Okay, variety is the spice of life. Right. Now what we want to do is we want to bring some of this together, and this is really the unsung hero of these techniques is the grays that he mixes. Okay, they're really the unsung hero. So you want to mix some of these grays. Maybe put a little yellow in with a little bit of a purple. Maybe adjust it cooler with a little blue, like I have here, and then water it down quite a bit, so you dilute it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just get a little bit of these in here, a little bit of those. We're gonna paint some of the clouds with it, you know. And like I said, just be very nonchalant about it. Have fun. Be a little bit messy. This is one of those situations where you can be messy. Okay, you got some of that gray in the clouds, some of the green in the clouds. Okay, we got some of this. Be a little bit messy. Have a little bit of fun. Okay. Let yourself experiment and really just kind of go to town and see what you can come up with. Right? Now, of course, the white of the cloud really should be the strongest white in the group. So let's come back down here and let's make that coral or that peach color that we painted the building with. Let's cool it off a little bit with maybe a touch of green. Cool it off with a touch of green. And then come in here and just kind of put in a little bit of a shadow. Pick and choose where you're going to put that. Leave some of it open so that you can still see it. Now paint, adjust. What I do is I squint my eyes and I try to find the brightest bright, and then I try to, the brightest bright's going to be up here in the clouds. And I try to prioritize or put everything else in a hierarchy below that. You get me? And we want to come in here with some of this. Now, if you paint too much, you can always come back and lift it off with your brush. Okay? Lift it off with your brush. Now, go ahead and put a little turquoise up here on the very top. Now let's go ahead and get a little bit warmer of that peach color. Let's put it in here at the top of the tower, like so. Kind of give little hints of it. Little hints, because that's what we like to do. Right? Now let's go ahead and grab a little bit of a blue gray and embellish these shadows over here. And we're just having fun. We're just going around, we're squinting our eyes, and we're picking out things that we can then adjust. Okay, people? Adjust. That might need to be a little more red. Okay. And it's okay, because we're if it's not the exact right color, it's okay. And if it's too colorful, it's okay. That's kind of what we're going with what Neil does today. We're going like how he paints, and we're kind of using that. All right. Now I want to come in here, and I really want to blast some strong greens in here. Okay. I want to push these back, have those kind of peek through there. Okay. Now I want a darker green, maybe a green and a blue. And we're going to come in, just light up the sides, no big deal. Remember what I said, we were going to paint these as the flowers, if you guys remember that. This is a great time to do it. I'm going to take as strong of a red as I can get, and I'm just going to wipe it on there like that. Now I'm going to take as strong of an orange, yellow orange as I can get, and I'm going to just pull it across, like so. Okay? And I'm just trying to have fun. I'm experimenting. I'm seeing where's this gonna go. Let me grab a really strong yellow, a lemon yellow. and hit a couple of these spots in here. Okay. Now let me turn those down with a little bit of a gray. Come back in here and mess some of this about to get rid of that white. That white's what we do not want. Okay. Right. They're looking good. Keep that white. All right. Now I'm looking, I'm squinting my eyes. I'm saying, you know, we could stop right here. It would be great. And Neil, he stops pretty early. And I like that, but I want to do a little more splattering and stuff. I want to really kind of have some fun with it. And we're just going to take a couple of risks here and see how they pay off. Okay. I want to take some of this ultramarine blue and I want to really blast it right here to really give this that look of shadow. Put some in here. We're just doing little touches, okay? Little touches. And then I really want to pull some of this green. Get some of this green in here. Okay, keep that variation going. Maybe some green down here. Okay, looking good. Now I'm looking at that palm tree. I'm thinking that palm tree needs some green or yellow or something. Needs a little something to help him out. It looks like he's disappearing into the sky there. So we're gonna go ahead and give him a little bit of green. Mix a little bit of that green with a little bit of gray. Get rid of that white right there. Oh, too much water, so I gotta pick up the water. Okay. Pick up some of this water. Spread that palm tree around. Now we get some of this brown. Mix it with some of the green to cool it down. And just put his trunk in there. Okay. And then just touch it up so I can put more pigment in there like I just did. And now what we want to do is add just a little bit more gray. Let me get my my toilet paper. Well, let me add a little bit more gray to these clouds, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, we're running up right on 35 minutes. I tell you, I got a stern talking to by James yesterday, going that hour. He said, "Ray, what are you doing, bro? I ain't got an hour to sit here and watch you jibber jabber about this stuff. What the hell you think you're doing?" I said, "Oh, my bad, James. I'll try better next time." So let's go ahead and get some of this blue going. We're gonna mix up another gray, a little red, a little yellow, get a little gray. We're gonna cool it down just a little bit. Cool it down, cool it down. Cool it down means I make it a cooler color, like a little bit more of a blue. It's always relative though. Okay. There we go. We're gonna give these the shadows. A little bit of shadows in here. Little shadows. We're just having a good time. Doing what we do over here, people. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Maybe a little shadow right here. Okay. Now he's looking pretty good. He's looking pretty good. And we're looking pretty happy with him, alright? Now we can always come back in here and give a little more detail to the front if we want. You can always just touch a little bit of the yellow. That didn't do nothing. So let's go ahead and grab a little bit of alizarin crimson. Come back in here. Touch some of these spots, you know, give a little bit of a detail. Looking like that. Let's go ahead and get some of this magenta, straight off the palette magenta. Touch in here. Okay, give it a little bit of a detail, a little bit of a feeling of a detail. And we'll go ahead and we'll call it right about there. Maybe a little bit more gray up in here to try to separate it. And at this point, I just kind of close my eye, squint my eyes and try to look at it and see what else I can do, or what jumps out at me, or if it feels balanced, or if it doesn't feel balanced, and then I try to adjust it. First, I look for the values, how light or how dark, then I look for the colors, the hues, and the temperature, okay? So just be doing, like I'm putting this blue up in here, it's gonna really bring in a little bit of more life. Put a little blue right here. Transitional blue. Can knock back that bright color right there. A little bit of that. Might need a little bit more blue-green over here in these bushes. So let's go ahead and do a couple touches over there. Like so. And we'll go ahead and call that one done. Okay. So now let me go ahead and take off the tape. And this is always fun, taking off the tape, right? Don't rip it. Don't rip it. You'd be a retard if you rip it. Okay. So no birrito. All right. So we got this right here. And this is a little bit of a mixture of the two processes, my process and Neil's process. And we get some fun watercolor style results, okay? So let's take a look at that. See what that looks like. Doesn't that look great?
Yeah.
Look at that. That looks great, doesn't it? And it's just that easy, folks. You know, we just have a good time. We have a little chit-chat action. We are in the zone. We're having fun. The hard part is getting in the zone and having fun. Okay? And so that's why we do all that pre-workout stuff, right? First we get excited. If you're not excited, get yourself in a state of excitement and joy, okay? If you're not excited, you have to get there so that you can have fun when you paint, right? Because if you're not having fun while you paint, it's gonna look like trash. And I've had many days when my painting comes out looking like trash, and that's no fun at all, okay? And then the next thing you gotta do is you gotta keep that critical eye at bay, right? So we do those, you know, in preparation for the painting. It's a lot. When you do it like that, it's awesome, okay, and it's easy. But if you try to do all of that at once, all at the same time, shove that whole cake the whole wedding cake in your mouth, it's never gonna fit. It's all gonna fall apart. You're gonna say, I must have never been cut out for this painting thing anyway. But you just don't understand the process, okay? And then the third thing is that schedule. When you keep that targeted in your mind, that schedule every day, and you go through the process to get excited, to put the critical eye away, to perform for your 30 minutes, you're fine-tuning yourself. You're working out your muscle. Then after you know it, after about 2 weeks, you're a pro. And I'm not even kidding. You'll see it. Your mind and your body will start to work together. You'll say, ain't we supposed to be painting right now? I'm excited. I want to paint. And then the critical eye say, I'm going down in the hole so you can go paint. And then the schedule's right there going, it's my 30 minutes. You're supposed to be doing the right now is the schedule. Come on. And then before you know it, it's just taking you on down the road, and that's why we're doing it. So that's how we got to do it. I want you to get out there. I want you to go along. I want you to kick some ass and have a good time. Let's go. Come on.